Hello again, this is part 2. Question number 2, they tell you it's a part of study assessing the success of the MBA student after graduation. They have 24 people, 6 of each in the major MBA concentration. So you have 6 people in accountant or in accounting, 6 in finance, 6 in management, 6 in marketing. And they want to see the value of their salary packages. Do they get the same salary or not? So you're comparing 4 groups. Now, at 5%, does the starting salary of the university depend on the MBA concentration? Now, this is another, but now they want you to use the p-value approach. Now, and again, I think they want you to do it Excel, so I did it in Excel, and this is the result given from Excel. State the hypothesis H0, HA. Similar to the question we did, question number 1, you're comparing 4 groups. We know it's ANOVA. It's different people, single ANOVA. So group 1 equals group 2 equals group 3 equals group 4, or at least one is different. If they equal, then salary does not depend on major or concentration. Because they're the same, so it doesn't matter. But if they're different, then it does depend. Okay. Using test, we use the F test, and again it's MS treatment over MSE, or treatment over E, or sometimes they call it between over within. You see this formula in your formula sheet. Well, decision rule, they don't talk about the decision rule because it's p-value and it's standard. P-value less than or equal alpha, reject H0. And alpha given in the question 5%. In the analysis, again, I want you to put the Excel output, which would be 2 tables. This is table 2. And when you look at the Excel output, you see next to this F test, they give you p-value. They tell you p-value from Excel is 0.002856. This is your p-value from Excel. So you're ready to make the conclusion. P-value of 0.025 is less than alpha 5%. It is less than 5. This number is less than 5%. So again, reject H0. Type 1 could be committed. With risk equals alpha to 5%. Rejecting H0, accepting HA, yes, salary does depend. So you say we have enough evidence to show that salary does depend on concentration or measure of MBA students. Okay. Now, also in the question, what's the overall interpretation of these results? Discuss. In discussing the interpretation, the things I want you to do to say salaries are different. Some students or some MBA concentration make more than others. Some concentrations or some MBA concentrations make less than others. So basically, they're not the same. So this is what you need to talk about. Salaries are not the same. According to the hypothesis testing, salaries are not the same. Some concentration make more, some concentration make less. So talk about this, try and make it into a paragraph or something, but that shows your understanding of what we did. Assumptions are the same assumptions for we did in first part. The samples must be normally distributed, randomly selected, equal variances, and independent of each other. So look at part 1. So you would say the sample of students selected randomly, normally distributed, equal variances, and independent of each other. What type of design was used, and discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this particular design. The type of design used is independent ANOVA. So we used single or independent ANOVA. Now the advantages in this case, there are not a lot of advantages, but because they're independent, meaning different groups, time to do the study will be fast since groups are independent. So you don't need to wait till one group actually finishes first and you start the second group. No, they're independent. You can do the study at the same time. It costs a lot of money actually to do. So the disadvantages, I'm going to add one more advantage here, but the disadvantage, it's costly, and time consuming. Since it's costly, since the sample we are dealing with is 24, where it could have been only 6 if we did it using dependent ANOVA. Also, one of the disadvantages would be that, or we could consider this an advantage, but one of the disadvantages is human error. It's dealing with different people, so you say no control over human error, since we have different groups. One of the major advantages is no order effect problem, since groups are independent. Because if it's dependent, then you have an order effect. Dependent, then you have to wait till they do the first study, and then the same group, they will do the second study, and then they'll do the third. So the order, which one they do first, it will affect the answer. Here, it's independent, different group, so it doesn't. These are ones you need to remember. I'll try and in the same file Excel, because I'm gonna send you an Excel file for question 1, question 2, and probably question 3. I'm also going to provide you with the disadvantages, advantages, Dr. Eric Lee's version of the answer, so you can look at it. He talks about the advantages, disadvantages in more detail, but this is basically what you need to know. Let me just double check quickly, see if there's anything else in this question. I believe not. I think we're good. So I'm gonna stop this video and see you for part 3.